Could we now have the Avon Heathcote Estuary Ihutai Trust? And neither of you look like Bill Simpson.
No.
One of you looks like Martin.
We did let you know that Bill was unable to be here today.
Sorry, it didn't make it to my sheet, so I know Martin.
Yeah, so we are representing the Avon Heathcote Estuary Ihutai Trust. I'm Isla Marsden. I'm a marine biologist at the University of Canterbury, and some people know Martin. Let him introduce himself.
I'm Martin Maguire, a retired gentleman of ever-decreasing means, and trustee of the Trust for about 10 years and immediate past chair of the Trust.
Well, some background first of all. The Estuary Trust is a charitable society set up in 2003 to promote healthy ecosystems associated with the estuary and its catchments. Our vision is that we're working together to promote clean water, open space and healthy ecosystems. We have key partners, including the Christchurch City Council, and work together on a number of key issues in the healthy, and one of them is the Healthy Estuary and Rivers Monitoring Programme. The Trust has a Memorandum of Understanding with the City Council, which was set up in 2004 but expired in June 2014. So one of our first priorities is to hope we're requesting negotiations to sign up a new Memorandum of Understanding. Throughout this time, we've appreciated the input of Christchurch City Council staff and councillors, and we have also been grateful for the funding which we have used to implement our management plan. We would therefore request that the Council considers providing us with a grant of $20,000 annually for the next 3 years. Christchurch is an exciting place from the point of view of the estuary. The ocean outfall has markedly improved water quality, and now there is a way forward for increasing the natural values of the estuary and the rivers. So we hope that we can put in place various measures to restore the damaged wetlands, maybe apply to Ramsar status for protection, and importantly improve Mahingakai. So in relation to specific issues as part of the plan, we're noting on page 57 and 8 managing stormwater, which is a really tricky thing to do because we know that the whole of the catchment in the estuary receives contaminants and sediments, trace metals, microbial contaminants such as bird droppings, etc., from the surrounding area. So we would like the council to put greater effort into preventing entry of some of the sediment into the river. There are options of pre-treating stormwater. We would like toxic spills to be trapped prior to their disposal into the river. We also have an interest in silt in the waterways and hopefully removing this silt, replacing or retaining gravel to promote spawning areas for fish. Finally, we would like to see the rivers and the estuary ecology improved so that there is Mahingakai. So the solution to this, we're hoping, is more investment in stormwater quality, repair the stormwater network, and as well as sort of repairing the infrastructure, but also consider other methods of waste storage, such as using swales and wetlands. We have been involved in this issue for a long time, and we also think that if we can be involved with the Christchurch and West Melton Zone Committee, we could assist in liaising on these issues. We particularly are interested in the continued funding of the Healthy Estuaries and Rivers Monitoring Programme. This is really essential. It tells us whether there are any problems. It shows us how the conditions in the estuary and the river are improving, and it's really important for future management. We would ask that in the 2015 to 2025 time period, we include the funding to cover the 3-year cultural assessments, the state of the Takiwa, and which provides an important Maori aspects of the cultural values of the estuary, and together both the scientific and social values can then be considered in the management. The final aspect that we wanted to talk about is on page 63, which is managing the increased flooding after the earthquakes. We've been thinking about this a lot and agree with the proposal in some places to relocate stock banks in the red zone. And in this way, you provide natural floodplains. Finally, I think in our submission, given the good relationships that we've had with the City Council and our Memorandum of Understanding, we're disappointed that the Trust was not consulted about the installation of a tidal barrier as soon as this was on the table. The Trust is opposed to artificial intrusions into the estuary, and it's well known worldwide that if any construction which is based in an estuary will affect both the hydrology and the ecology of the estuary. So given the current financial constraints on the Council, we're not really in favour of supporting or spending any money on pre-feasibility studies regarding the tidal barrier. And we're urging the Council to consider alternative methods to address the increased risk of flooding due to the earthquakes and also future sea level rise, which is a much bigger problem for the future. Thank you.
Can I start by saying that the councillors were equally surprised by the undertaking of the pre-feasibility study. So, and the reason we included it in the consultation document was to lift it out of the morass of the activity management plan so that people could see that was actually being considered as part of our overall infrastructure strategy over the next 30 years. And your comments have been echoed by everyone else that has an interest in the estuary and the health of the ecology of our city. So I don't think that it will be going much further. So, but I wanted to ask a question, because this was the first time when I read the submission that I realised that we had an expired MOU. And normally speaking, when the council has entered into MOUs, they don't have end dates. So I wanted to understand from you why it had an end date and what we can do to put it back on the table.
I think it was just when the original management plan was and the trust was established, it was established for 10 years, and that was the reason. There was no, there wasn't a reason why it shouldn't have been forever, and I'm sure the trust would welcome an MOU which did go on into the future to assist planning for the future. Wonderful, thank you. Sorry, who had their hand up over here? Phil.
Just on the pre-feasibility study, yes. The staff advised us too, though, that a lot of people had asked for the tidal barrier solution to be explored, and it's a pre-feasibility study, so we're expecting that it would be ruled out in terms of the science. So we've yet to get that report. I just wanted to ask you about your request really about having a link with the West Melton Zone Committee, because and this is Pauline's area particularly, but like you'll be aware that's their ECAN committees, but I'm a bit surprised that you haven't got a link, and would look at how we could support you to develop one.
Martin, would you like to answer that?
Well, we have had a link, and one of our trustees is actually a member of the zone committee, and I was appointed some years ago in its inception, but for personal reasons had to pull out. But we have had several meetings with them, but I suppose what we're looking at is a more formal relationship, particularly around the issues around the rivers and that feed into the estuary.
Yeah. Thanks, Martin. And my other question really too is if you had a view around, like you've referred to the sea level change aspects in terms of the estuary area around South Shore, and like there's a lot of the local walls have been pushed over since the earthquake, and there have been some requests around restoration of those. I just wondered if you have a view about that in terms of different geographical changes.
Well, this is not sea level, well, these are changes as a result of the earthquake level differences in the estuary, and in some places the levels have risen and in others they've fallen. In some ways it looks like there has been unusual changes, and we're yet to understand what has happened. So we really do need to understand better the effects. In the short term, we understand that the protection needs to be for the houses, and so that the protective devices that are put in place are meant to be temporary, and we would be looking at what a more ongoing means of maintaining those areas would be, really. So does that answer your question?
It does really, because we, as a council, we're having 2 workshops very soon on that very issue around all the changes.
We'd like to contribute to those.
Excellent.
We'll perhaps discuss that offline.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.